Today we are sitting down with the owner of Confidently Therapy. She specializes in helping the high-achieving, overwhelmed perfectionist mom who needs relief. Alexis Adams, welcome to the Scuttlebutt Club.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
Yeah.
This describes us to a T. It does. It's crazy. I just feel like I feel like it's us, but also all the moms we know. I was talking to some at the basketball games this weekend, and they were like, who's next on the podcast? I'm like, you're going to want to tune in.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. But tell us how Confidently Therapy all started.
Oh gosh, that's a loaded question actually.
Okay,
but I will just keep it in the short clips here. So my background is as a therapist, and I always knew I wanted to be in my own practice. After my third kiddo, I realized how much motherhood really just cracks you open in all the ways, right? And not in a bad thing, but my first really flipped everything on its head. And then when I had my third, it was oh gosh, there's a lot more to it. And I remember thinking how well prepared, or how ill prepared, I should say, that I felt as a therapist with training and background and all of the things. And I only could imagine what other moms had felt. And so I really did a deep dive into the postpartum perinatal space. And from there, I realized that even as unsupported as new moms can be, the moms who are in the trenches of every day, all day, after, everybody's done looking at the baby and they all move on with their lives, right?
Yeah.
We're feeling it still.
Yeah.
And we're confronted with raising this child while we're trying to figure out ourselves. And so that's really how it all developed, was just my own motherhood journey, and then backed by therapy, everything. So yeah.
So were you a therapist before you had kids?
I was. Actually, I walked across the stage for my master's degree 9 months pregnant with my son.
Oh, okay.
So he's been kind of in it throughout the whole thing, but I did all my internship before he was born.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Was that here?
No, actually, I went to school in Minnesota.
Oh.
That's where I met my husband. I'm originally from Indiana. My family moved all around. We ended up in South Dakota, of all places. And then I didn't want to live in South Dakota for my schooling for obvious reasons. So Minnesota offered reciprocity. And so I went to school in Minnesota. I met my husband. We stayed there for about a year after my son was born. And then we were we can't take this cold any longer. Not that Indiana seems to be much better currently, but we moved to South Carolina briefly, and then I convinced him to come here, and now I'm trying to convince him to leave because I don't like the cold anymore, but he loves it here. So
He does.
yeah.
Well, that's good. At least your family's here too,
Yeah. So that's been nice.
I love that.
Right. I think a lot of moms get stuck in the daily grind of just helping everybody else and not necessarily themselves. How can they help shift a change with this?
So I think the biggest thing that frustrates me is that so many moms are told take time for you, do more self-care, make that gym appointment or your nail appointment. And it's that's fantastic and great, but all the guilt that comes with it just doesn't allow for that at all. And so really it comes to managing your guilt before it does the self-care and all of those things. So you have to make sure that you're checking in with yourself and how you're feeling about going to get your hair done, or going to take the workout for the 30 minutes, or just even lounging on the couch, right? So much of it comes back to emotions and how you're dealing with guilt and stress and anxiety and all of those things. And if you're not really processing those, you're not really going to take and enjoy the self-care time, because I know that even as my husband is incredibly supportive, and he was always oh, go get your workout done, go do these things. And that's fantastic. But if you're rushing through it to just get back to the baby, or if you're rushing through it to go get laundry done, that's not really helpful. And so being able to get to the underneath stuff is what really matters, actually.
I was just talking to her about this last night. I feel I always have that guilt, and even every Wednesday I take an hour tennis clinic, and I'm always in my head trying to justify it to myself, it's just 1 hour a week, it's good exercise, it's good for your mentals, and I'm why do I do that every week?
Well, because we're
all do
conditioned. Yeah, we all do that. It's just because you're taught that to be a good mom, you have to be constantly present. But also, if you're constantly present, you're somehow failing your kids too. You can't win in any situation.
Do you think that's more of being a mom or being a default parent?
I think that's hard to say, but I would say that most of the time those are one and the same.
Right.
Not in every family, but I would say
Right.
majority of the time. Like for instance, in our family, I am the default parent. My husband's a firefighter, and so he's gone for 24 hours at a time. So everything falls on me because I'm just always there. But he's very involved and very supportive. Like he knows our kids' routine, he knows all the things, and yet, so like I would say it's a kind of a both, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's
and
a both.
maybe like how society's like set up that like the mom takes the majority of the duties, like for kids and raising them and all that.
I do feel like there is movement towards this idea that like parents or fathers are still or can be more involved, but I don't think we're quite there yet. And even with the push that there is, I think there is a lot of fallback on old narratives about like what motherhood means and how to be a mom and like how to be a working mom or a good mom, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we talked a lot about like being a perfectionist, and I feel like we are like this, but like we're getting to the point where it's like not sustainable or like we're cracking, I would say, like you said earlier. But we were literally talking about, this is so specific, but we were talking about stickers last week and how like we don't like to put stickers on things because like it might be the wrong place or it might be messed up or something. Like, how do you address that perfectionism and like help get rid of it?
So that's a loaded question because with the stickers specifically, right? Like,
but do you know what I mean?
It's so much more though. I think that's the thing is that like a lot of moms look at their perfectionism as this has made me who I am. This is why I'm successful. This is why I'm a good mom, is because I stress over these things and almost look like it. The shadow side of it is kind of like I'm better than you because I care about these things. And that's really crappy feeling to think about, but like that's the truth. And also it is this, I'm special, I'm important. I care about these details. I do these things. And when you look at it, it's that feeling of insecurity of like, if I don't do these things, I'm not enough. If I don't stress about the sticker not being on perfectly, then what will people think of me? Or I'll somehow be less in somebody's eyes. And even though you can rationalize, like nobody gives a crap about like what the sticker looks like, it does matter to you and it does feel like everything's under a microscope. And so I would say it's more about addressing those deeper beliefs about how do you view yourself and your value. So often, especially I feel like as moms, because there's so much pressure on us from outside to be really good moms and present moms and also like have a life outside of our children and all the pieces we have to kind of play and juggle perfectly or we're somehow a screw up. I think that a lot of the time we get our identity from, well, what do other people think about us? What do other people say I'm good enough? What do other people, what are they doing and how do I kind of compare to that?
Or like you get that praise from them. Of
exactly.
You did a great job. And it's like, oh, I want more of that,
Yeah, but we don't actually take the compliment too, which is even crazier.
Yeah, you're like,
no, this old thing.
I have a client of mine who I'll give her a compliment and she's like, yeah, okay. And like makes this big sarcastic comment about it. And I'm like, dude, I'm giving you a compliment. And she was like, I know, but it's so uncomfortable. I don't like it.
Why are we like that?
I don't know. I think it's uncomfortable because we don't want to settle, right? Like we don't want to settle because if we all of a sudden settle, we lose our specialness. We are no longer important. We are no longer stand out. And we want to stand out in the right ways, right? But like we want to stand out. We want to be known for something or matter to someone.
Yeah.
Do you think a big thing like that would be helpful in that is, I know this is probably hard to do, like much harder to do than just to say, but not caring what other people think of you, like trying to let that go?
So that's so great in theory.
Yeah.
And yet it doesn't work, right? Because my mom preached at me most of my childhood, like, it doesn't matter what somebody else thinks. Like, what do you think? And that's really rah-rah and amazing. And my mom's amazing, but that never helped me. It was more of, okay, I'm allowed to care what this person thinks about me, but how much space do I want it to take up in my life is more of that. So the way I kind of use a visual is if you think about a puzzle, right? You have your thoughts, you have your feelings, you have opinions from other people, you have all of these pieces. But if you only take one or two pieces, you don't know what you're making, right? Like you could be making a cat puzzle or a Star Wars puzzle, but you need more pieces to make a picture. And so take into account that like you're worried or stressed about what somebody says online, or you're worried or what somebody says at your family gathering. And also, what are your thoughts? And also, what are your feelings? And how, what does the situation kind of need from you? And taking the full puzzle, helps to put things more in perspective, because I can't tell you not to care about what other people think. Like, we're literally wired as humans to want belonging. We want to have our people. Even the most introverted human needs to know that they belong in some capacity.
So we all need to do better at helping other people with their confidence too.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
I
would
would
like
agree.
a way to look
can't
at it.
fix ourselves, maybe we help other people try to like build up that confidence.
I would say that a lot of times when we are too focused on ourselves is when we feel most insecure, when we're trying to like protect ourselves from other people's image. And so when we do turn out towards other people, and not from a performative stance, like this idea of I have something to prove here, but more from a I'm open and I, am taking up space and those kind of things, that totally makes a difference in how we show up in the world. And so, I would agree with that.
Do you think it's important for moms to have like a good group of friends, like a support system, and they can kind of build each other up, like Taylor said, or give each other feedback?
I really do. I would say that it takes a lot of time to find that group. And I think a lot of people are sold on this idea because in every movie you watch or show you watch, they have their like close-knit group of friends. And it's almost like it's instant and it doesn't take a lot of work. And yet we forget that in order to, I think a lot of people have said this, and I don't know where the phrase comes from, but like in order to have a village, you've got to be a village. Like you have to show up for other people and they will show up for you. And it's kind of this back and forth. You can't just expect it to click automatically. It's like any relationship. It takes a little bit of work.
Yeah.
But I do think having your people is important because I think it reminds you of who you are and can help you to get out of your own head when you're in your own head about how you're failing as a mom or how you're failing in your work and all of these places. Like it can give you some perspective because sometimes you're just too close to the situation to really have.
I think too, like seeing all of like the social media and stuff, it's like you're seeing like the perfect side of that, and then if you're with your friend group, you can kind of like vent about like the not so perfect things. Do you know what I mean? Because they're like going through the exact same things you're going through. So it's that versus like this perfectionism.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think that's where a lot of this comes from too? Is like an added pressure of what you see online?
I do think there is an increased amount of that because a lot of the time when I'm talking with my clients and we do kind of this like social media break or we limit our social media, their moods change drastically.
Oh, that's a good idea. Like, what do you have them do?
Just like either delete the app off their phone or set app limits. Like, so for instance, I currently have on my social media 2 hours a day at most. Now I have to fit my work hours in that too, and so that it makes it even less.
I do think that's hard about it.
Yeah.
But it's really hard not to compare yourself, and you've got to think about it. Like when our parents were growing up, and even when their parents were growing up, you had your neighborhood, you had the small town community, but like you didn't see behind closed doors. You didn't compare yourself to someone across the country who lived this glamorous life.
Yeah.
I mean, you still had the pressures and things like that, but it's just different.
Like you're seeing it so often too. You know what I mean? It's like every day.
Every single day. Exactly. And then you have, it's hard to set those boundaries because you also have FOMO if you aren't on social media, if you aren't doing these things. And so kind of a double-edged sword a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So on your website, you talked about like rest without guilt a little bit. And that like really spoke to me, and also sharing the household responsibilities.
Yeah.
Family, listen. I just feel like I constantly have to be on. And so I do have that like guilt of like, if I'm not doing the laundry and I'm sitting on the couch, it's like, I feel like I can't truly rest. Like, do you have like tips for people on that of like how to break that cycle?
Yeah, so I think you just calling it a cycle is really important here because the way our brains work, and I know this is kind of nerdy and I won't go too deep into it, but the way your brain works is that what fires together wires together. So what that means is as connections are formed in your brain. So for instance, if I get anxious and I hop on my phone and start scrolling and I notice that I feel less anxious or my brain registers it as less anxiety, I'm going to instantly jump to that every single time because my brain has said, this works. Don't change it. Even if I feel worse afterwards, later, it works. When you get anxious, when you're sitting on the couch or what have you, and you jump up and do some laundry or you jump up and do the dishes, it gives you a temporary relief. And so your brain says, this fixes it. Let's just do this over and over and over again. So in order to break that pattern, you actually have to sit through the discomfort first. So when you want to jump up and do the laundry or get the dishes done, it's literally putting some time between that. Now you may go up in 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes is crucial of changing that pattern. And then you make it 10 minutes, and then you make it an hour, and then you make it a day if need be. I think the other piece that is really complicated with that though is, okay, so for instance, I have like 2 loads of laundry that I left sitting in my dryer because now I've got to come here and I know that's coming back to me. But I put it off almost all the week, right? And so it's like, oh, it doesn't change anything. I'm going to still have to do the laundry, so why not just get it done? And I think that's where a lot of moms that I talk to struggle is like, okay, I take the time off, but it's still going to be there later.
Right.
But those are two, in my opinion, two different issues, right? We're learning to not prove our worth and to be able to sit through the discomfort of resting and say, okay, my body needs rest right now. I don't feel up to doing the laundry. And yes, if there are 2 loads later on that I have to fold, that's fine. I'm going to sit and enjoy my time now, or I'm going to play games with the kids or what have you. The other piece too then is because you're working on not proving your worth through your performance and what all you're doing, you can start to incorporate more support other places, recognizing that you not getting the laundry done and your husband like helping out, or you hiring a service, or your mother-in-law coming over and folding some things, like doesn't mean you're any less of a human, because we all need help. We all need support in some way. There's no way that any of us can kind of do this on our own. And if we are, something's going to suffer, whether that be the relationship with our kids, our spouse, our family, our friends, what have you. Our mental health, those kind of things.
Yeah,
and so
I agree with
those
that
are two
so
different
much.
parts.
Yeah. I feel like it was being a stay-at-home mom. I feel like extra guilty when I'm not doing those things because it's like, that's your job. Like, you know, like that you put on your own self. Like, make sure the house is clean, the kids are happy, you know, like everything's in order.
Yeah.
Versus I would almost feel better if I was like gone working all day and then I came home and was like, oh, I just need to sit for a little bit.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I absolutely do. So after my middle daughter was born, I took almost a year off of work to stay home because of the cost of childcare was going to be basically my salary. And I remember when my husband would come home, I'd be like, I got this done. And I'd like run through a checklist every single time. And it was like, he didn't care as long as we were all
cool.
like, congratulations, fantastic, like whatever. He never asked me to do any of those things, but I felt like I had something to prove, kind of like you're talking about. And I've seen this other places, so I'm not even going to claim that this is my own. But one of the things is like your partner, whoever is working, gets to clock in and out. They get vacation days.
Right.
They get time off. Like, it's okay for you not to be on all of the time. Like, you don't get to clock out. You are constantly running. And it's not just the stuff you get done. Like, you have the mental load. Like, yesterday, I sat and did nothing. I didn't get my workout in. I didn't get like work done. I had 2 or 3 things I needed to get done and I chose not to. And like, it's the mental load of I was literally balancing that all day, even though I didn't do anything. It's the, oh, I can make this up here and I have to get them here and I have to do these schedules, right? So like, that would be my thought is it's not a competition. And I can tell you that, but it still feels like a competition or something to prove. And then your value, again, looking at where you're getting your value from. Is it from getting all of these tasks done? Is it somebody telling you like you're doing a good job? Because then we have to kind of work on that piece of it.
Well, I think something hard too, like going from being working an 8 to 5 or whatever, and then transitioning to a stay-at-home mom is like you would get like praise or like, oh, great job on that project or a promotion or a bonus. And then kind of like you said, you make these checklists as a stay-at-home mom because it's like, wait, look what I did, because there's no one to see it or
And your work's
Yeah,
never
it
done.
goes unnoticed.
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
It's like this was like driving me nuts during the e-learning days.
Oh boy.
I
That
felt
was a
like
test for all of us.
I felt like I would start one task and I could never ever finish it, and it should be something that would take like 5 to 10 minutes, and that was driving me insane.
Yep.
Because someone needed help with something or somebody spilt something or whatever, and I was just like, oh, I can't finish anything.
Yeah.
Something that's been really helpful for me. So I stay at home. We school our kids from home because of my husband's crazy schedule. It just made more sense than like sending them to traditional school. Was like, how do you measure success and adjusting how you measure success? Because when you're working a corporate job, success is probably like a salary or a promotion or a position or whatever. when you're a mom, it's okay for you to adjust what success actually means. Like, are my kids happy? Are my kids healthy? No, maybe we don't have the nicest car or the nicest house or the whatever, but like everything I've wanted or everything we've shot for, we got, right? And so that can be a good measure of success, and recognizing if you're living in alignment with like your values and what you actually desire, then everything else can kind of fall to the wayside, right? Like, who cares if the laundry didn't get folded for 2 days and you've got wrinkly pants? Like, it's okay. Your kids got to play with you, you know, steal the bacon or something like that. So
yeah, I agree with that a lot. I also feel like for me, like the whole sharing the household, like chores is like big right now. Of I feel like I'm almost doing them a disservice of not teaching them how to do those things. And I feel like that's helping me like rewire my brain a little bit. Like, hey, if I'm doing the dishes after we eat, you don't go run and sit on the couch and watch TV. Like, I'm still working, so you should help whoever's still working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, if I'm folding the laundry, you put it away. You know what I mean? I've been trying. I know it's harder to do that, and it's easier for us to be like, oh, I can just do it quicker myself and get it done. But I feel like that's almost a disservice to them. Like, once they leave in, 8-10 years, which is insane to think of, like they need to know how to do those things. Like, it just doesn't happen for them. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a little magic fairy running around.
Absolutely. I've had a conversation with several clients about that, of like, it's so much easier. I want them to be a kid. And then you also balance that of like, and they're however old and not doing the things that perhaps is developmentally appropriate, right? And it's, how do you strike that balance? And honestly, it comes down to like, what are you trying to instill in them? And when you are allowing them to do the chores and take responsibility, like you're trusting with them with that, and you're also boosting their confidence that they are capable, they can do these things. I get it's a weird balance for sure, actually, as I had a conversation right before I left because the bathroom was a disaster. And I was like, you have no respect for me. Like, why are we doing this?
You sound like me.
Yes. What is happening right now? Why is there toothpaste on the mirror? Like, how does that even happen in 2 minutes? Like, oh my gosh. Okay.
But
so
like,
yes.
Yeah, teaching them like, okay, that's there and that's fine, but like someone has to clean it. So let's grab the spray and spray it off and do that. I don't know. I feel
and
like
now you know how.
Right. And I feel like teaching them to see that too, because I feel like a lot of our kids don't see the mess. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's like, hey, if there's something on the stairs and it's yours, take it up when you go. Like,
yes.
Come on.
Yes. But you're right. It's teaching them a valuable skill. I mean, I remember going to college and there were grown men sitting in the laundry room waiting for a girl to come by so that they would get their laundry done.
A lot of us figure that out in college. And if you think about that, like, I feel like you should know those things before then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
At least a vague generality.
Because you have to.
Yeah.
But it's like, I always tell my kids, because I'm like, they think I'm being mean by like making them do this. And I'm like, wouldn't you rather have me here to help you figure it out than like figure it out later and not know ever what you're doing? Like,
yes.
I just think that is something, obviously they're like, what? But
yeah.
I'm like, you don't get it. Let me help you now and then make it easier for you later.
I tell my kids all the time that like, I'm telling you this because I love you. It's not because I want to be mean and make your life miserable.
Yes.
Like, I am telling you because I love you and I see better for you and I want this to work for you. This is what we're doing, because I'm the mean mom actually in like the circle, because I make my kids do chores and like my kids have to keep up their rooms and things like that. Like, a lot of the moms in their friend groups
I think that's part that's hard, because they see that and they're like, well, my friends aren't doing that. And it's
my
like,
friends
well,
aren't doing that.
Can everyone get on board, please?
Can we just find,
it's making this a lot easier for everyone.
This would be so much easier if we all had the same, but I get it and it's fine. And so
again,
I would
find
agree.
your friend group and make a pact.
That's
We're all
fair.
doing
Here's
the same
the chores.
thing.
That's
so no
fair.
one's the mean mom.
I was solo parenting for the last 4 days, and my 10-year-old was helping me like pick up a lot of stuff, like a lot of the 2-year-old's toys that like were left out. And I was laughing because we like cleaned up, and then the next day he like came downstairs and he's like, I just cleaned this. And I'm like, I know, buddy.
Frustrating,
Like,
isn't it, kiddo?
Welcome to my life.
I'm like, I know.
My son gets mad at my daughters for not listening to him all the time. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, really? You're going to get mad at this? Isn't that so annoying when somebody doesn't listen to your advice? Wow. I would not know what that meant. Yeah.
I start hearing my oldest say stuff to the younger kids, and I'm like, oh my God, that's me. Like, your words are what I say. I'm like, oh gosh.
It's okay.
Yep.
I need to be careful.
Yeah, be careful. Be a little mindful of how you word things.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I know we talked a little bit about social media playing a big role and like maybe how we were raised generational. Like I just feel like the guilt seems so much more for our generation than others. Maybe that's just me being closed-minded. But like, do you think that social media was a big like factor in that and still is like you said, take cleanses, like what else? Maybe unfollow people. Like what else can people do?
I would say be intentional about who you're following, right? Like notice your mood after screen time, right? And being intentional about when you pick up your phone. Like, is this just to numb out, which isn't always a bad thing, right? Like we all have our vices and it's okay, but being intentional about like why you're going on social media. Because I know there are absolutely times when I have gone on just to compare myself and make myself feel even worse, which isn't healthy by any means. But if you're going in a bad headspace, like you're not going to come out in a good headspace. So recognize that and maybe put boundaries on your time and when you choose to engage, what accounts you follow. I know I've had to like mute accounts because it's like I compare myself to you all the time because of what you're doing and how you're doing things. Like I can't.
Yeah.
I would agree that like social media has had a big impact on that. I also would say that as women, I feel like we balance more than most of the women before us had to balance in a different way. Like I was talking to my Nana and my mom about last year, I think. And they were like, yeah, we didn't really work. Like our husbands kind of took this. We took the house and it was okay. So you don't understand my lifestyle. Like you don't understand that I have clients I have to see and I have to do billing and I have to do these things. And then I also have all of the responsibilities you all had. And so I think we also just have more on our plates, or we're expected to do more and be able to handle more. And then you look at the area we specifically live in. I mean, Hamilton County, the way that it's just kind of laid out, like there's a different expectation of the people in Hamilton County than there are in other areas too.
Yeah. I agree with that a lot. I feel like I need to start like cleansing my feed.
Guys, there's this, I don't know the account off the top of my head, but it's like a mom in Utah, of course, like every influencer. But it's like the one account that like if I am not motivated to do stuff around the house, I'll like go on there and find hers because she posts several times a week a timestamp of like drop the kids off at work and then like here's my morning after that, and she like tackles that house, like does everything, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go.
Gives you a little motivation.
Yes,
to get off
I
the
know,
couch.
like just to be like the opposite side, like the one good thing.
Yeah.
I'm always like, all right, I don't know how she does this every day. I gotta get up.
So I do actually like kind of popping off that. I do think there's value in social media, right? Like you think about the mom groups and how easy it is to connect. Hey, I'm looking for childcare. Hey, I would love if somebody could give me advice on how to get my kid to sleep because I haven't slept in 4 days. Like
Yeah.
social media really can be positive. It's all about how you use it more than it's this blanket statement of social media is awful. I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with Instagram. I use it mostly for my business at this point, and a lot of the times I can, gripe and complain about why it's awful. And I have made some really good connections with people. I have had some really supportive coaches. I've had some really supportive clients. Like, it's just incredible how we can be connected. So you can build up your community through social media too.
Yeah, I agree.
The other like last thing I'll say about me and my issues is sometimes I'll get on there when I don't want to do anything else I'm supposed to be doing. And I've realized lately that it's just like mundane, like stuff around the house I don't want to do. So I think to make it more interesting, I like procrastinate, and then I'm like, oh crap, I have a time limit, and then I like go. And I don't know why I do that. Well, I think I just said why I do that, but I'm like, what is wrong with me?
But procrastination, I mean, is usually about not feeling adequate to do it, or that it's not going to be done right, or as you're kind of talking about, like the boredom and that sort of thing. Like, I don't want to do this. This is just a kind of mundane sort of task.
Yes.
And so then adding the extra charge to it, again, like emotions and wiring and all of that. So
I do feel
100%.
like too, like if we're all sitting on the couch and my kids are watching a show, I'm like, I don't want to watch that, but I'm like sitting with them, so I just get on my phone. You know what I mean? It's like this, like, I'm not going to watch your little cartoon, so let me just scroll. But it's, again, mindless and like nothing.
Yeah, my kids watched Gabby's Dollhouse. My middle has wanted to see that. And I told my husband, I was like, you owe me. I turned this on and you owe me. And I didn't watch it. And Addie, my daughter, was asking me, she was like, what'd you think, Mom? Wasn't it so good? And I was like, I wasn't really paying attention, darling.
So
like,
great.
sorry, I just can't. I'm sorry, honey. I was like, I was scrolling. I'll admit it. I was scrolling. And she was like, it's okay. All right.
You can catch it the next 45 times I watch
Yeah, exactly. I'll catch it at some point. I guarantee it. So yes.
Okay, we saw on your website and your Instagram you have like different free resources for moms.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good place to start if people aren't sure if they want to take the plunge into coaching?
Yeah, I would say I really work intentionally on making things that are practical to use, because one of my biggest pet peeves is in like the therapy space and mental health space. A lot of it is like, know yourself and be very self-aware. And then a lot of overthinking women like I work with, they get stuck in that. It's like, I can think myself into 10 different circles and I'm not getting anywhere, or they're consuming so much information that like it paralyzes them because nothing feels like the right answer. And so I try to be very intentional about the resources I create in you have something to take forward and apply. It's not just, hey, here's all this awareness. It's, okay, what do you do with this awareness? So right now I'm creating, or I have created, a 90-second reset. So for the moms who are feeling completely overwhelmed, who are ready to like tap out, snap, what have you, they need a reset, but they don't have, hours upon hours to like step away. It's, what do you do in those moments when you're just at capacity? Whether that be you have a deadline and the kid is like trying to get you to untangle a necklace, not speaking from experience there, or, you have 4 kids asking you 3 different questions all at once. My kids tend to talk to me all at the same time and expect me to know every single conversation they're talking about while I'm also doing other things. It's that reset. What do you do with those feelings? Because you can't scream, you can't like step away for hours. So what do you do with that so that you can just keep functioning?
I love that.
I like it.
Yeah.
I need that.
Me too. Like my 2-year-old this morning, he's like, TV, he drinks like a protein shake. He's like, protein, like pointing to all this stuff. I'm like, okay, I can only do one thing at a time. Like, what do you need most? Like,
my favorite phrase in our household right now, or my phrase that I say pretty often, is there are 3 humans talking to me at once. At what point did you think I was going to understand any of you? And I was like, you start. And then we go on to and it's like, let's go.
I don't remember your name. You go.
Oh, the amount of times my kids get called the other name.
Or like
I'm
the
so
dogs.
sorry.
I feel like I always say the dog's name. I'm like, whoever you are, just do this.
Just come here. Yes. All the time. So like, just let's walk through the line here. Yes.
You're making us feel more normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's another, I love social media because I do feel like there's more conversation around, you know what? I don't have an aesthetic house. I don't have like the
I think
10
we
organizing
try to do that too with our posts of like, let me not clean up the kitchen while I'm telling you this, because like this, I've said multiple times to like, people are coming in for like a service, like the plumber has to come to my house, or like somebody the dishwasher needs changed. The people that come in, I'm always like, sorry about my house. And then I said it to the last guy and I was like, but we live here. Like, why am I telling you I'm sorry? He's like, I have kids. Like, our house looks just like this. Yeah. Why are we always like, oh, I'm sorry about my house? Like, no, we live here. Like, it's not a pigsty. It's just, we live here.
Yeah. Yeah. We live here. I was talking to somebody who was like, I don't know how to keep up with our house. They were like, but also we live here. Like, I remember feeling like my mom kept certain spaces, not my mom, their mom, kept certain spaces that were off limits to the kids because she wanted presentable spaces. She was like, but I want my kids to know that we live here. Like, they don't have special towels in the bathroom they can't use. They don't have pillows they can't sit on, right? Like, again, that goes back to like, how do you measure success? How do you measure like what a valuable, meaningful life is? Because that's really what it comes down to. Like, I want my kids to be happy and healthy. Well, what does that mean? Yeah, sometimes that does mean kicking their butt a little bit on school and like pushing them. Sometimes that does mean making them have chores. It's not always fun and games, right? And also with the intention behind it that like, I want them to be like wonderful humans when they grow up.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's an important aspect too of like, social media can be really harmful in a lot of ways because we compare ourselves to these like aesthetic houses and organized systems. But I also feel like there's a lot of people out there that are like, here's my carpet from the 90s that I just haven't had the finances to replace because we keep having kids, and like those are hospital bills, right? Like,
Yeah.
Or, I don't have the IKEA furniture that's all, Marie Kondoed here. We have the like, go look in the junk drawer kind of aspect, right? And so I love that also is being talked about more.
Yeah.
And that there are spaces that are saying, you're not failing at this. Like, you're doing your best, and you have kids that are thriving, and that's what we measure our success by.
I do feel like I'm like that with our friend group of like, if one of my friends come over like unannounced, like a neighbor, I'm like, I don't really care because their house looks the same as mine, and we know that. You know what I mean? It's like, no big deal. So I do feel like that is an important thing to touch on again, like having that group where you live similar lives and can like relate in that way.
Absolutely. And finding that group is really challenging, and like you have to put yourself out there, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to be willing to take the risk, because every relationship's a risk at some point. Like, you're going to get your feelings hurt even with the people you love. Even just for my own marriage, like we get our feelings hurt, and you have the hard conversations and you move on. It's not the end of the world. You're going to meet people that aren't nice, or that you don't agree on their parenting style, and you have to decide on like, does this fit still or does it not? Like, can we look past these differences and recognize we're just two different parents, and that's okay. But you have to put yourself out there. And I don't think a lot of us are willing to put ourselves out there because we're so scared to get rejected. And I can speak from personal experience. Like, I shut myself down for almost probably up until like 2 years ago with my youngest. I like kind of went into a bubble and said, nope, I'm not doing any of this. It's too much. And I'm slowly starting to come out of that shell and put myself out there. And it's been so fulfilling to find people and different like little nuggets of people, right? I have my church people. I have like fire family people. I have, So it's been really nice to have people who get you in a different way.
Yeah, because I feel like if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Exactly.
So it's like you can either stay in that rut, or you can be uncomfortable for a little bit and then find the end of the tunnel.
And the biggest, like truly and honestly, a lot of what the women that come to me talk about is like, I know what I should be doing, I just can't seem to do it, right? Like, I know what I shouldn't care about, like how the house looks. I shouldn't care about what my kids are eating, and yet I do. I stress too much about it. And it's really about like, if you dig back the layers, it's really about emotions, and go figure, a therapist is talking about emotions. But like, if we're not able to tolerate the difficult emotions of putting ourselves out there and having hard conversations, or tolerating the guilt and discomfort that we're experiencing by not getting the house cleaned up or what have you, then we're just going to keep repeating the things. You have to learn to tolerate the distress of being anxious, being guilty, being all of these things, and really like dig into it and say, I'm okay. I'm okay to not feel okay.
Yeah, that's where we insert you.
Yes.
Yeah.
How can people, like, if they listen to this and they're like, oh my gosh, I need her, like, what kind of services do you offer as far as like coaching and therapy goes, and how can people sign up for that?
So my background is in therapy, and at this point I'm kind of phasing that out. So I don't really see any therapy clients unless it's like very, very, they've referred by another referral kind of piece. Right now I really do coaching because I love the container aspect of what I offer. So I have a 12-week program. It's called the Power Mom Accelerator, and it's like stepping into your power of being a mom. And a lot of the times I do work with working moms, but that doesn't mean that just because you're not a working mom doesn't mean you don't fit into the program. But it is more about these women who are type A perfectionists. They're used to getting it all done, having all these things, and nothing's really wrong, quote unquote, but like, they just don't feel right. They feel like they're on this treadmill that they can't keep up with. They feel like they're constantly on edge and skimming at the surface and want more from life. They want to do better and not have to really drop the ball anywhere. Because I think a lot of times ambitious women are like penalized in ways of like, you either have to like be a mom and slow down and enjoy and kind of compromise everything, or you just have to compromise your motherhood. And I don't believe it has to be that way. I know some really like kick butt females who are doing all the things, like who've started their own businesses, who have lots of kids, who have thriving marriages. And like, I don't think it's a one or the other. So in the container, like the women who work in the container are learning the framework, which is power. It's based in power. It's a framework I've developed. And in that, then we're working through it hand in hand. So it's like practice of what they're going to go out and do in their own lives. And one of the reasons I love it more than therapy is that therapy, a lot of times people will come in and it's, oh, how was your week? And we vent and we talk things in circles, and then you don't go anywhere with it. With this coaching program, like I have women that are sustaining their results years later, and I check in with them and they're like, I'm having the best life that I never thought possible. I love myself. I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying my kids. And also I'm trying these new adventures. I'm trying these new things. And so it's putting things into use or like to practice so that you're rewiring your brain.
That's great. Is this virtual or in person?
Completely virtual, because no mom has time to step aside and have a meeting for an hour, you know, every 2 weeks or what have you.
Do you like Zoom, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's Zoom meetings, and then I also use like messaging, so like almost like text messaging, but it's a little more sophisticated than that. But yeah, text messaging and Zoom.
Is it one-on-one
Yeah, I was
or
gonna
is
say,
it
or is
group?
it group or
So
what?
currently it's one-on-one, but I'm slowly transitioning to group, because one of the things that I keep getting feedback on is, okay, I'd love to be doing this with other people who are doing this too.
Okay. And like maybe people could have the option, like maybe someone doesn't want to do it with other people.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like,
so there will always be one-to-one components.
Okay.
Like I will always have some component of one-to-one in it. It's just I'm adding group to it as well. So
I love
yeah.
that. This is so good.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we got to have this conversation. This
Tell
has been
everybody
so fun.
your website and your Instagram.
So my website is a work in progress. So I'm not even going to share that because it's a work in progress.
That's fine.
But Instagram's the best way to connect, and that
Okay.
is at confidently.alexis. And so that is the best place to connect if they're listening to this and want to DM. Like, absolutely, I'm always up for just chit chatting in the DMs, and then I share a bunch of stuff on my Instagram page, freebies and that sort of thing too.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
So
We'll share
everyone
it
needs to
too.
follow along.
Yes.
Regardless if you're doing the coaching or not, you'll learn something.
Yeah, exactly. That's the hope. That's the hope. Perfect.
You're a safe page for people to land on.
Yeah, it is. I am an encouraging page. It's not the comparison game.
Perfect.
For sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks
guys
for
so
being
much. I
here.
appreciate it. I really do.
All right. See everybody next Tuesday.